these variables, how related each other, what is the relationship, okay, that is known as simple or linear correlation. If marks in mathematics increases, obviously marks in statistics is also going to increase. If the data are represented in the form of ordinal scale, then Spearman's rank correlation coefficient is used. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on 4th unit, and the chapter name here is Correlation. I'm your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, in my last session I started with mode. So what is mode and what is the need of mode? So dear student, here mode is used to find the maximum value. In the sense, it's mainly used to find the most frequently occurring values. Under this mode, we discussed group data, ungrouped data, as well as continuous frequency distribution along with some example problem. But in my today's session, I'm going to deal with another chapter called correlation. In that, I'm going to deal with type of correlation, and I'm going to deal with Spearman's rank correlation, or you're going to get the question like rank correlation. Anyway, dear student, I'm going to explain the topic according to your syllabus, which is prescribed by the Mysore University. So according to the syllabus, you have to study what is correlation, type of correlation, and Spearman's rank correlation with some problems. Now, what is correlation? As the name itself indicates that it's mainly used to know the relationship between the variable or values or observation. Now, dear student, think that I have X group of observation and Y group of observation, and how all the observations of X, which is related to all the observations of Y. So what kind of relationship? That is known as correlation. So what is correlation? It is mainly used to define the relationship between the observation. Now, if I consider type of correlation, there are three type of correlation. That is simple correlation. So what is simple correlation? As the name itself indicates that I have only two variables or only two observations, say X and Y. Okay. Now, the correlation between the given two variables. So, how these two variables are related each other and what is the relationship? So, here I am having only two variables, and it is known as simple or linear coefficient, and it is represented by Rxy. Fine. Now I'm going to have my second type, that is partial correlation. In my partial correlation, I can have more than two variables. I can have more than two variables. The correlationship between any two variable while removing the effect of another variable. Think that I have three variables, say X, Y and Z. Okay, now suppose if I remove the variable Z, how it is going to affect on the remaining two variables? That is known as partial correlation. So here I am going to have the variable more than 2. So the correlation between any two variable while removing the effect of other variables, and it is represented by relation, that is correlation xy into z. Now I'm going to have the multiple correlationship. So here I'm going to have more than two variables. The correlation between a group of variables and a variable which is not included in a group. So dear student, think that I have X group. Okay, in this X group, I have A, B, C up to so on. So under X group, I'm going to have collection of variables, or I'm going to have group of variables. Okay, and I'm going to have another variable, that is y. Okay, which is not included in the group. So here the correlationship between group of variables and which is not included in the group, that is known as multiple correlation, and it is represented by R y dot. It is group of variable, and it is a variable which is not present in the group. Now dear student, if I consider simple correlation or linear correlation, okay, see here, we are dealing with the data involving two related variables, and generally we assign the symbol x to score of one of the variables and y. So in the simple correlation, I'm going to have two variables, say x and y, and these variables, how related each other, what is the relationship, okay, that is known as simple or linear correlation. Under linear correlation, I'm going to have 5 types, that is positive correlation or direct correlation. Then I'm going to have negative correlation or inverse correlation. Now third one is unrelated correlation or uncorrelated. Perfect positive correlation and perfect negative correlation. So dear student, you can able to expect the question like what is correlation and explain the type of correlation. So under simple correlation, how many types? That is positive correlation, negative correlation, uncorrelated, perfect positive correlation, perfect negative correlation. Now, dear student, let me to explain all these types one by one. So here, positive correlation, that is direct correlation. I'm going to have the two variables, say x and y. So here, the variables are said to be positively correlated if large values of x is associated with the large value of y. So, large value of x is associated with the large value of y, or the small value of x is associated with small value of y, and this is known as positive correlation. In other words, if one variable increases at the same time, okay, another variable is also increase. Another situation, if x is going to decrease, then y is also going to decrease, and this kind of relationship is known as direct correlation. And here I can able to consider the example, that is income and saving. As the income increases, okay, savings also increase. If income decreases, then saving is also going to decrease. Then marks in mathematics and marks in statistics, or a direct relationship pattern exists. So if marks in mathematics increases, obviously marks in statistics is also going to increase. Suppose if marks in maths decreases, obviously the marks in statistics is also going to decrease. And I'm going to have the second type of correlation, that is negative correlation or inverse correlation. So here the variables are said to be negatively correlated if smaller values of x are associated with larger values of y. So here smaller values of x associated with the larger values of y, or larger value of x associated with smaller values of y, and this kind of relationship is known as negative correlation or inverse correlation. And if I consider this diagram, see here, one arrow towards down and one is towards up. Okay, here also one is towards up and one is towards down. See here, if I consider this example, okay, if I see the object nearer, then I can able to view the object properly. If I try to see the object from the longer distance, then I cannot able to see the object properly. So this is the best example for inverse correlation or negative correlation. The best example here I can able to consider price and demand. Okay, now as the demand decreases, price is going to increase. Another one is unemployment and purchase. That is purchasing power. So as the unemployment increases, the purchasing power is going to decrease. These are the two examples. Now I'm going to have uncorrelated. So here the variables are said to be uncorrelated if smaller values of x associated with the smaller or larger value of y. See here, smaller value of x associated with larger or smaller value of y. Now, the larger value of x is going to associate with the larger or smaller value of y, and that is known as uncorrelated. See here. Okay, the larger value of x that is associated with the larger or smaller value of y. Okay, here also the larger, that is the smaller value of x is going to associated with the larger or smaller value of y, and it is known as uncorrelated. And I'm going to have fourth type, that is perfect positive correlation. What is perfect positive correlation? If the values of x and y increases or decreases proportionally. So the value of x and value of y is going to increase or decrease proportionally, then it is said to be perfect positive correlation. And perfect negative correlation. So here if x is increases, then y is going to decrease proportionally. If y is going to increase, then x is going to decrease proportionally, and it is known as perfect negative correlation. So dear student, these are the 5 different types of correlation comes under simple or linear correlation. Now I'm going to have this statistical tool selection. So dear student, if I consider linear correlation, okay, under this I'm going to have the continuous ratio. Okay, one type is continuous ratio and another type is ordinal ratio and another one is nominal ratio. Under continuous, or ratio scale, I'm going to have scatter diagram, curl Pearson correlation coefficient, and that is represented by the letter R. Now, if I consider Spearman's rank correlation coefficient, then it is rho. So, dear student, according to the syllabus, I just want to explain only this topic, that is Spearman's rank correlation or rank correlation, and I am going to have the nominal scale, under that Yule's coefficient of association, and it is represented by the letter Q. Now, dear student, let me to explain Spearman's rank correlation. If the data are in ordinal scale, okay, if the data are represented in the form of ordinal scale, then Spearman's rank correlation coefficient is used. It is denoted by the Greek letter rho. Spearman's correlation can be calculated for the subjectively data also, like computation scores. The data can be ranked from low to high or high to low by assigning marks. So, dear student, if I consider rank correlation, we are going to have the ordinal scale. In the sense, we are going to have the group of data, and that may be aligned in the form of ascending order or descending order, or it may be a mixed data. Now, what I want to do? I want to find the rank. For that, I am going to have the Spearman's rank correlation. Anyway, dear student, when we solve some of the example problems in this method, then we are going to come to know that what is Spearman's rank correlation. Now, to solve the problems, I have to remember this formula. What is the formula? It is rho equal to 1 minus 6 summation of d square 1 divided by n, open the brace, n square minus 1 and close the brace. Now, where d is nothing but the R1 and R2. So, what is R1? That's nothing but the rank 1 and rank 2. And where I am going to get the rank 1 and rank 2? I want to find the rank 1 and rank 2 from the given data. Okay, fine. Now, what is n? N is nothing but the number of pairs of observation. N is nothing but total number of observation which is present in the given data set. Okay, so this is the formula used to solve Spearman's rank correlation. Anyway, dear student, let's consider this example. So here, Spearman's rank correlation coefficient is a statistical measure of the strength of a monotonic, that is increasing or decreasing relationship between pair of data. It interprets is similar to that of Pearson, that is, the closer to the plus or minus 1 means stronger the monotonic relationship. In the sense, after interpreting, if I get the answer and if it is in terms of plus or minus 1, then it is nothing but the strong correlation. Now consider here, these are the positive range and these are the negative range. And the positive range starts from 0.01 to 0.19. Then it is nothing but the very weak relationship. If it starts from 0.20 to 0.39, then it is weak. If it starts from 0.40 to 0.59, then it is moderate. If it starts from 0.60 to 0.79, then it is strong correlation. If it starts from 0.80 to 1.0, then it is very strong correlation. This range represents the type of correlation, that is weak, very weak, strong or very strong. And this is for only positive range. And if I consider negative range, see here, it starts from minus 0.01, then it is weak. If it starts from minus 0.20 to minus 0.39, then it is weak correlation. If it is minus 0.40 to minus 0.59, then it is moderate. If it is minus 0.60 to minus 0.79, then it is strong correlation. If it is minus 0.80 to minus 1.0, then it is very strong negative correlation. So, this is the explanation regarding Spearman's rank correlation. Dear student, in my today's session, I started with what is correlation and what are the type of correlation. In that, I started with Spearman's rank correlation. And in my next session, I am going to deal with some of the example problems using Spearman's rank correlation. Dear student, let's meet in the next session with the example problems. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.